had to do, you had to make deals when you were acquiring the companies and the bottling plants, and you had a story about a plant where a man would not sell it to anyone, but you were able to negotiate that. Would you share that story?
That's a funny story. It's a funny story because in 1963, I was in Charleston, West Virginia, and everybody knew that the Pepsi-Cola plant in Lynchburg, Virginia, which was a wonderful town and a wonderful plant, was for sale. And all the people around there, the other Pepsi-Cola bottlers, had all gone there and tried to buy it. And every time they'd go in and try to buy it, why, the owner would find reasons not to sell it to them because they might do something to his business that he didn't like, or whatever the reasons were. But he didn't like his neighbors. So I drove down 250 miles one day to go to see him, and I had an appointment and went in, and as I told Karen once before, he was about the meanest guy you've ever met. His employees didn't like him, people in town didn't like him, people tried to buy his business didn't like him. And so I went back there and told him what a wonderful man he was and what a great business he had. And suddenly he took a liking to me, and
suddenly he took a liking to you.
Well,
You tell him how
well, I told him
nice
I told him how much I liked him, of course.
And suddenly he took a liking to you.
And interesting thing, I'm reading this book right now on Thomas Jefferson, and that was one of his little techniques in getting along with people. You know, even people he didn't really know or he didn't agree with, he would tell them how good they were, how wise they were. He'd appreciate their position, and he understood where they were coming from. Not in those words, Jefferson was better than that, but it was sort of that technique.
Huh.
And so we bought the business on credit. I didn't have a dime. I called my dad and said, we just bought the Pepsi plant in Lynchburg. He asked me how much, and he said, do you have the money? And I said, we're not even close. He said, what are we going to do? And I said, he sold it to me on credit. I'm going to pay him in 30 days. And he said, how are you going to get the money in 30 days? And I said, Dad, you're going with me to New York, and we're going to find the money. Ended up borrowing the bank money right in Lynchburg. And it was a fun chapter in my life.